Hey guys, this is Zach here with GI Tactical again, and we're going to go over another quick tip for you. So we get a lot of questions about people, or not really about people, but from people asking how do you change the motor in your M4. It is the most common platform really for a lot of people out there, whether it's new guys or people that have been on the block for a while. So we grabbed just two basic M4 platforms, a G&G combat machine and one of the classic Army skirmish guns. They're one of the most often picked up for a new player starter package, and they have the two different base plates that we really would be working with for changing a motor. So essentially what you want to do is, well, number one, if your motor is dying or if you want to get more trigger response, you go ahead and get your new motor. What we have here is one of the 40K motors from Action Army. I mean, really, you could pick up whatever you want. You could buy one of the new G&G motors. You could get one of the ASG motors, Lone X motor, Tinley motor, whatever you want to grab. They're all available for you. You know, a lot of them are going to give better performance than a stock motor. You just need to make sure that your gears, your piston, everything else can be able to handle it, whether your MOSFET and your gun is going to be able to handle it. But we're not really going to install this. We're just kind of showing for those purposes. So back to the quick tip. You're going to see two different styles of motor covers or grip covers. One is going to be like the G&G here, which uses 2mm Allen keys in the bottom. So what I have here is a 2mm driver, and all I have to do is find the Allen key, which I'm not anywhere near it, I don't think. Plug it into the Allen key, and you can just spin it out. So front and back, and then you're going to expose the wirings underneath. If it's not going to be 2mm Allen key, most likely it's going to be a Phillips head screwdriver. Rarely do we see anything other than those two styles. So for the classic Army here, we're going to go ahead and remove this so you can see. So you move your back one and your front one, which hopefully they'll be nice and tight in there so you don't have to worry about your motor coming out at any point. So the spring tension on the motor should help the base plate pull up once you remove those screws. We're just going to leave them in for the time being. Then you're going to see a little channel that looks like this on the inside of your gun. So you're going to have your ground wire here and your power wire here. So I typically just use needle nose pliers just to be safe about it. I'll pull from underneath. So just to show you, I come up from under here and I just simply pull that wire out of the way. And I do the same for the ground wire as well. So there we go. So I just pull them out of the way. Your wires you want to make sure are tucked to the rear. And you remove your motor. So one of the best things for you to do is, you see how the wiring is set up. You've got your black wire here and your red wire over to the right side of the grip. Or if you really want to show it this way, I always kind of line them up so that the red wire is on the one side of the post and the black wire is on the other, because that makes it a lot easier for when I grab my new motor, which we're just going to put the stock one back in. But you want to make sure that the red post goes towards the front. Slide your motor in place, and then you take your black wire and you put it on the bottom post, your red wire onto the top post, and now you have basically the exact same thing as you did before, but you know, with your new motor if you were installing your new one. Take your base plate. It's a little easier to do without the screws into it, so now we're going to remove them. You want to make sure that you don't pinch your wires where you put it in. Slide that, lock it in place, and then grab your screws and drop them back into those holes and just tighten it down. Now, the one thing that we do want to mention is most motor swaps are not going to be just this simple. When you do change your motor, or if you choose to change your motor, you're going to make sure that you have your pinion gear from your motor perfectly set with your bevel gear inside of your gun. If you know how to adjust your motor height, typically it's going to be a little flathead screw on the bottom here, or like with the G&G, this uses a 2mm Allen grub screw in the bottom so that you can adjust your motor height up or down as needed. So you might need to hook a battery into it, cycle on semi-automatic, try to listen for the high-pitched whine, because you're going to want to either tighten or loosen up the motor plate so that you can actually get that pinion gear to mesh with the bevel gear from the actual gearbox as best as possible, so that you don't wear out your gears or throw off your shimming or cause any malfunctions within your gun. So that's the basic gist of how you want to change the motor inside of your gun. Ideally, it's to either increase your rate of fire, or increase your trigger response, or let's say your motor is just dying because you've had it for a while, so you just want to replace it with something to get back in the fight. But that's the basic, simple way to do it. If it doesn't sound right once you've installed it, again, play with your motor height, see if you can get it up and down. Don't overrun the gun, because if it begins to really sound bad, you're probably going to want to re-shim the gun, and that's a little bit more involved tech work than just swapping out a motor. So anyway, if you guys like this video, leave us a comment, subscribe. If you didn't like the video, leave us a comment. Maybe don't subscribe, whatever you want to do. Just let us know the kind of things that you guys want to see, and we'll see you around. Take care.